Good morning, guys. This will be my first video lesson for you. I would like some feedback and let me know if this works better than the YouTube videos that I've been sending you on the topics. But this is the worksheet that we're going to be working on. I'll do a couple of examples, and you can continue. You guys are actually going to do numbers 4 through 10 for your homework. All right. So these are trigonometric word problems. So whenever we're dealing with trig problems, you're always going to be starting with a right triangle, okay? So every picture that you draw is going to be a right triangle. In number 1, it says, a tower casts a shadow that is 60 feet long when the angle of elevation of the sun is 65 degrees. Okay, the angle of elevation is always going to be where the hypotenuse meets the ground. And we all know that this would be our ground here, okay? And it tells us that the shadow is 60 feet long. Well, we know that shadows are on the ground, so this side is going to be a shadow. And we want to know how tall this tower is, so this is going to be the tower itself, all right? So if we know that we're dealing with this angle right here, we have to label this with either our opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. We have to determine whether we're using our sine, cosine, or tangent functions, okay? We know that the longest side of a right triangle is our hypotenuse. If we draw a line across on the angle that we're dealing with, this is going to be our opposite. And this is where the hypotenuse and the other side meet is always going to be our adjacent, okay? We're looking for the height of the building, so we're going to call this x. So we're looking for our x. We're given our 60, which deals with O and A, okay? So if I look at either sine, cosine, or tangent, the one that deals with opposite and adjacent is going to be the tangent. So we're going to be dealing with our tangent of our angle, which is 65 degrees, equals my opposite, which is x, over my adjacent, which is 60. So that should be the trig ratio that we set up. All right, and then we just cross multiply. So we grab our calculator. Make sure that you are in degree mode. Okay, we're gonna take my tangent of 65. And then I'm gonna multiply, because I'm gonna cross multiply times 60. So x times 1 is x, tangent of 65 times 60, all right? And we're gonna round this to the nearest tenth, is 128.7, and we're talking about the shadows in feet. This would be feet. Example number 2, again, you're dealing with a right triangle. Draw your right triangle first, and we'll plug in our information. Matt is standing on top of a cliff. So here's Matt on top of this cliff. He's 300 feet above the ground, above a lake, I'm sorry. The measurement of the angle of depression. Well, whenever you have depression, you start from the top and it goes down. So the angle of depression in this case would be right here, which is 42 degrees. And how far is the boat from the cliff? So here's the boat. Put a little engine on there. And we want to know how far that boat is from the cliff. Okay, so then we label this. The longest side is always your hypotenuse. Across from that angle is going to be your opposite. And where the hypotenuse and the other side meet is always going to be your adjacent. So we're looking for our O. We're given our A. So we look at what trig function we're using. O and A, again, we're using tangent. So we have the tangent, in this case it's 42 degrees, equals our opposite, which is x, over our adjacent, which is 305. I cross multiply, x times 1 is just x. 305 times the tan of 42. So hit tangent, 42 times 305. Rounded to the nearest tenth would be 274.7. Again, we're talking about feet. Number 3, we have the same situation as number 2. Matt is standing on top of a cliff, 300 feet above. We'll draw the same picture. Here's Matt, 305 feet above. Okay. The angle of depression is 42 degrees. We'll label this, again, H, O, and A. How far is the boat from Matt? Now we want to know how far this boat is. We'll make this boat over here again. How far the boat is from Matt. So in this case, we're looking for our hypotenuse and we're given our adjacent. So the trig function we're going to be using is hypotenuse and adjacent would be cosine. So the cosine of 42 degrees equals my adjacent, which is 305, over my hypotenuse, which is x. Okay? Now, this is very important. In these first two examples, the x was in the numerator of both of these, and we multiplied. If x is in the denominator, we're going to divide. So you know you're going to have an x equals, so we're going to take 305 and divide it by the cosine of 42. And that's going to give us 410.4 feet. 410.4 feet. So remember, if the x is in the numerator, we're going to multiply. If x is in the denominator, we're going to divide. All right? Guys, give me feedback if this works for you. You guys are going to work on numbers 4 through 10 and post when you're done. And have a great day, and I miss you guys, and I hope to see you soon.